I'm running late. Oh well. Things getting me a bit overwhelmed. Hello, Megaleech, Dr. Abigail. Particularly apt greeting from you tonight, Dr. Abigail. It being, I think, the 130th anniversary of Tolkien's birth. I think it's exactly 130. I think he was 1892. Pouring myself a drink. Haven't even poured my drink yet. All right. And get my orange, because I like to garnish my drinks. Ooh, really nice oil aromatics coming off this one. Do. Dropping that in the drink. Oh, I didn't get a skewer. Need a skewer if I'm going to have a cherry. Gosh almighty. Okay. Still one or two cherries in this jar. I shall attempt to skewer one. There you go. I see you now. Secure. Yes, I must secure the cherry on the skewer. Because that's the thing. Not so much for this drink, but probably for another drink I'll make, because I do feel like having more than one drink tonight. Yum, oh. Consult one of my books for a cocktail idea. This one has the ridiculously complicated cocktails. Piedmont Fizz, syrup, lemon juice, Cokie, gin, club soda, and absinthe float. Neat. So you do the syrup, juice, Cokie Americano, gin. Fill the highball glass with ice. Fill the cocktail tin with ice. So shake on ice, strain into the highball, add the club soda, then float absinthe on top. I mean, that's like a martini highball. Hi, Greg. How you going? It's really interesting. That is basically you're hybridizing a gin sour and a martini and turning it into, oh, they're calling it a Collins. Yeah, of course. A petticoat. Gin sour with Szechuan spice. Szechuan peppercorn infused gin. Again, at least half the cocktails in this book have infusions, specialty elements. Hey, Nettie, how you doing? The Rainbow Road. So honey, strega, peach liqueur, lemon juice, pisco, bitters. What's strega? So I think strega is like a herbal liqueur. A red light. Falernum, vanilla syrup, lime juice, grapefruit juice, rum, aquavit. Campari. Yes, well, the Campari can fuck right off, basically. Rhubarber. Rhubarb, olive oil, tequila, sour. What the fuck have they got going here? So mezcal, a rhubarb syrup, and olive oil washed tequila. Let's just say this, they're also complicated. Not necessarily all, but many. This one's got 3 different syrups: cane syrup, passion fruit syrup, cranberry syrup, then lime juice, then sherry, vermouth, vodka, and doing a float of smoky scotch on top. Oh no, with an atomizer. So a spray of smoky scotch over the top for a hint of smokiness. A South Park sling. Coffee-infused bitters. Cherry, lime juice, pineapple juice, Aperol, Chino, gin, and soda. I have to sit down with this one. I feel like this one is just too over the top to browse. North Sea oil. Triple sec. Lafroig Isla Scotch, so really smoky Scotch. Coke Americano. Aquavit. So it's an orange liqueur, a smoky Scotch, a sort of bitter cousin of vermouth, and aquavit. Weird stuff in that book. I tell you, it's weird stuff. It's all a bit much in this world. Things generally getting to be a bit much. Oh, Steve the bartender has an important announcement. This one doubles as a tip as well as a regret. I wish I'd taken this advice when I first started making cocktails. Get yourself a notebook. Oh, so that's the important... Is that the important announcement? That's a tip. How's that an announcement? There's no announcement in there, Steve. What are you talking about? False advertising. I'm shocked. Oh, that's right. There was that freakish helicopter crash in the Gold Coast. Dust off your beach towels. A glorious weekend awaits. Is it? Is it glorious? Let's look at what the weekend brings for Melbourne. Ooh, a Tolkien-inspired cocktail. That's a good idea, actually. And fucking g'day, mate. But I'm just going to check this weather, which they say is going to be glorious. What's it going to be? All right. So tomorrow, 19 and no rain. Very mild day tomorrow. Then Thursday up to 24. Friday up to 27. Saturday 30. Sunday 32. So they're saying basically no rain for a week, which, given what we've had up to now, is a tad surprising. I go back to work next Monday. It's supposed to be warm, mostly sunny, 18 to 29. Oof. Well, I'll just be staying inside with air conditioning on. I should do a fuzzy hobbit instead of a fuzzy navel, maybe. Gondorian highborn, Valerian blend. Okay, are you making those up or have you seen them online? Because those are pretty wild names if you just came up with them off the top of your head, as the internet say. Mirkwood's Enchanted Forest Cocktail. A Miravoir Cordial. Well, I mean, I think this is like Miravoir Cordial. What's the Enchanted Forest cocktail? Ugh, vodka. Well, I wouldn't be doing that for a fucking start. All right. Pomegranate juice, vodka. This is a drink for fucking losers. 4 ounces of orange liqueur. How many fucking people is this for? Oh, that's for 2 people. Jesus Christ, it's still like, oh, God. It's a really shitty cocktail. Cordial of Imladris needs to be read. Okay. You could make a condolence special. No one can find the recipe. Talking jokes. I think Aidsy would be on board with that, nobody. Annual orgy with at least 4 eckies per person. Yeah. I think he'd regard that as completely called for. All right. Murvor recipe. A lot of people have one. That's the most obvious one to think of, I think. They say for Murvor. As soon as Frodo had swallowed a little of the warm and fragrant liquor, he felt a new strength of heart, and the heavy drowsiness left his rooms. The others also revived and found fresh hope and vigour. It's been referred to as a kind of nectar by Tolkien and a sweet mead by Galadriel. So how did this person make it? I fucking hate web pages where they don't make it obvious what the recipe is. Yes, elderflower, obviously. Jesus fucking Christ. Shitty fucking websites. Swear to fuck. Okay, someone's idea of an ent draft. Hobbit special. An Eye of Sauron. A sting. Okay. See if any of these sound any good. Another Murvor cordial. Gin, tea, elderflower. Elderflower is a really obvious one. Honey syrup, orange flower water. 1.5 ounces gin, 1.5 ounces elderflower liqueur. That's probably way too much elderflower liqueur. 3 ounce, unless this is for 2 people again. 3 ounces white tea. No, this is a single serve. That's too much elderflower liqueur. It'll overpower it. Oh God, Mimsy's about to get some scrapings from a plate, and she's losing her fucking mind. Good Lord. Does this person have an ent draft? Cucumber, Granny Smith apple, mint. Oh, it's non-alcoholic. No way the Ents drank stuff that wasn't alcoholic. They're a bunch of hippie stoners. Oh, hi, Aaron. Liking the cocktail t-shirt? I have a lot of them. Nobody. The orgy was Nettie's idea. Fair enough. And you wouldn't normally suggest it, but he is, in fact, a special case. Okay, what do these other clowns think? Oh, fuck off. A half-foot smash. Bourbon, basil, black breeze. All right. There's this drink, the Eye of... So actually, I like it because they've got a blood orange slice skewered through with a cherry right in the middle. Presentation-wise, that's spot on. Saying 1 ounce gin, 3/4 ounce Saint Germain elderflower, 1/2 ounce lime juice, 1 ounce blood orange juice. What the fuck is Ale 8? Anyway. Hey, Safa. So, Megaleech, you made up the Lean on Me gin with elderflower, some stevia, and fruit cordial sweeteners. Nice. Nice. So, that's like a fruity gin and tonic. Or a slightly sweetened gin and tonic. So, with those names, oof. Okay. So, yeah, those really, those names are really evocative, Dr. Abigail. Fuzzy Hobbitfoot. I would use a riff on a fuzzy navel. It is classically in a fuzzy navel. 3 ounces of peach schnapps and 3 ounces of orange juice. What a fucked drink. I would not like that drink at all. Goodness me, what a shitty drink. It's me being super judgy. That would be a... So, fuzzy Hobbitfoot, I would have nothing like a fuzzy navel. That's a terrible drink. Nice, Dr. Abigail, I'll make the cocktail, you name it. Oh, it's garnished like an old-fashioned. It's actually a clarified cocktail I made. This is like equal parts whiskey, rum, brandy, orange juice, pineapple juice, and then milk clarified. It's to use up an orange. See, I've got another one to be used up now. I do garnishes and I end up with this naked orange. So I juice it and use that as an excuse to make a clarified cocktail. So even though there's quite a bit, there are several serves of this one left, I'm kind of due to make another one because I finished that orange. Started a new orange this evening. So, and Aaron, the clarified cocktails are delicious. Do you want to get up there, Mimsy? Are you coming up to say hello? Weird cat? She's just off to the side. What are you doing, you weirdo? So I was thinking the Balerian blend was one that was very evocative to me. How is Balerian described? Okay, on the Lord of the Rings wiki. Vast region, northwestern Middle Age during the First Age. Originally, its name is referred only to the areas around the Bay of Bella. Name applied to the entire land. The root of its name, Bella or Bala, believed to refer to the Maosi who often dwelt on the shores of Bella. The War of Wrath at the end of the First Age brought the destruction of the entire continent, except Linden, and its descent into the sea. So that's an elvish kingdom. Baleriand is an elvish kingdom. Well, Safa, there is quite the selection on Pornhub, so I've been told. So nude orange, sure, I'm sure that's someone's thing. Hey, Keela, how are you? The thing that, because I loved all those names you came up with, Abigail. They were very evocative. Balerian blend, to me, is like an old fashioned with a blend of whiskies in it. And does the Noldoran jewel, does that sort of speak blue or red to you, or green even? But yes, you're certainly excellent at naming cocktails, Dr. Abigail. You're doing this. Are you going to come up here and say hello to everyone? You're just going to stay where no one can see you. Come up here. Yes, that's it. Come up here. Say hello to the people. Oh, come on. Go up there. Yes, you weird bloody cat. There. See? Everyone can see you. Okay, so there were also human lands in Valerian. Okay. Okay, an Aldoran jewel would be clear or golden color. I think it should be sparkling as well. A jewel. Ah, a Silmaril. It has cooled down in Melbourne, Safa. It's going to be, maximums are only around 20 for a couple of days. Then it gets back up into the 30s for the weekend, apparently. Yep. Okay, so sparkling. So I should put soda. Something golden. And again, okay, elderflower. It should be elderflower for the elder. Hey, Liam, how you going? I'm soldiering on in this crazy thing we call life. You know what? I'm going to put it in a martini glass. I'd be tempted to do this in a champagne flute. Actually, I don't think I have a good champagne flute around. I know what I'm all right. I finished that. I'm going to make a Silmaril. I need to get the elderflower, which is next door. I have rock. Actually, it's a crazy thing. I think it's actually in there. Just the elderflower I'm looking for. And it is in here. Okay. It was in here the whole time. All right. So I need to get a glass. Smash a glass. Why not? Right. And I will get my jigger so I know how much I'm putting in. Now, this is going to be, that's not what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. So this is going to be a gin martini with the addition of elderflower liqueur. Hello, honey. People want to give you the pats, Minzy. Don't want to give you the pats. Right. So, gin martini. And elderflower liqueur to make it a bit golden. Honestly, I could have used my clarified cocktail for that, but I think elderflower is appropriate. And then we top that. Wait, that's the martini again. Jesus. I'd be fucking arsehole if I drink it. Okay. I Strictly Sega, I very rarely drink tea, but I never drink coffee. If I go to a cafe with someone, I'll most commonly have hot chocolate. All right. So that's my sparkling Silmaril cocktail. You prefer the name Noldor Jewel? All right. This is the Noldoran Jewel, then. It's actually quite nice. It's a gin martini with some added elderflower liqueur and topped with soda. I mean, if you were the type who liked Prosecco or champagne, you could top it with that. Or with sparkling cider. But we want it to be sparkling because it's Jewel. Yeah, Safa, I'm somewhat a pariah in Melbourne for not liking coffee. And the two most popular cocktails here, I don't like either of them. The mainstream one, espresso martini, which I don't like because it's coffee. And the hipster one is the Negroni, which I don't like because Campari is too fucking bitter. So Aaron, when we first met, it was hot. Gave Ken a Pepsi Max because I always drank them. Yes, I like it. I would be about the last person to drive Starbucks out of Australia because I'd drink the sugary things they had there. Certainly the coffee drinkers of Melbourne never made them welcome. I think there are still a couple of Starbucks in existence in Melbourne. I could be wrong, but I think so. Oh gosh, yes, Strick could say you're referring to the helicopters at SeaWorld, rather full-on accident where two helicopters crashed into each other and several people killed, several more seriously injured. Pretty full-on. Liam, the loss of AIDS. Well, so the thing with AIDS, this is not an exaggeration. This is something I've been expecting for at least 10 years. So it's the phrase I've been using is it's simultaneously inevitable and impossible. It didn't seem like he'd ever die, but it seemed like he would die at any time. I was actually putting together a video today with a few bits of classic AIDSy in it. That was a little bit emotional doing that. His memorial's tomorrow. That's going to be at least a little bit emotional. I won't make any predictions as to whether I hold it together for the AIDSy event tomorrow. And yes, Safa, there were a few famous deaths around the same time. The former Pope, Pele, Vivienne Westwood. I think there was one other famous person. Oh, she's famous in America, Barbara Walters. Yes. Dr. Abigail, feelings being gay. If they have feelings about AIDS, they're very gay. And yes, lot of laughs shared. So it's the videos are essentially AZ talking about or joking about death and or the afterlife, and I thought that was particularly apt. I just do a little bit in the middle. I recorded today where I'm talking to camera. Just if you did know, AZ had died, and yeah, I didn't want to say too much. I'll let AZ speak for himself, essentially. Yes, he was very fond of ripping Abbott apart. Abbott, pretty easy target. So, for how many people will be there? I literally have no idea. Dozens? I don't know. Be a few. There'll be quite a few. I won't know most of them because my last year at uni was AZ's first year, and he was around there for years afterwards, and so made friends with hundreds of people that I never met, and then all these friends and associate from comedy days, etc. A huge number of them I don't know. A bunch of them I do know. No, Megaleech, I'm not uploading it to Code Grey because I don't remember the password. I am uploading it to my main channel tomorrow. So as I won't be doing a live stream tomorrow, there will be, only the third pre-recorded video I've put up on my main channel in the last 2 years. AIDS's special. He deserves the little effort into putting something together. Even though the old Code Grey videos gave me weird problems. A bit late, I worked out something that might have worked, and then I was like, yeah, you know what? Actually, fuck it. The audio is good, and it's what he's saying that's important. And the video, for some completely inexplicable reason, has gone all slow motion. So what you see is not at all matched up to what he's saying. But there's lots of good AIDSy physicality in it. And I just thought, you know what? I actually don't mind that. So, but the Code Grey stuff is still there. The full show, the interviews and rehearsal stuff that I put up behind the scenes, as it were. And as I mentioned the other day, when I was rewatching Code Grey, trying to find very specific bits I wanted, had to spend so much time looking at AIDSy's dick because of the full frontal scene in it. Yes, he's strictly saying what's on YouTube is low res. I keep all my video. And I just have 10 hard drives that have all the video I've shot over the last, 16 years. And I just had to find the appropriate source files on there. And for some reason, the Code Grey video was just fucking with me. It would not play with my editing software. But interestingly, the one I'm going to put up at the start, which is about the afterlife and making jokes about how many times AIDSy visited it, it is going to be higher quality than the original upload from YouTube from about 10 years ago. Hello, Kirsten. And Safa, no, the video file's not corrupt, because if it was corrupt, it wouldn't play at all. I have no idea what the problem is. It doesn't make any sense. Now, I did consider, getting, because there are websites that let you download YouTube videos in comparatively low quality, and I did consider using one of those to rip Code Grey from YouTube, and that might not have had the problem. But if I did that, it was going to be comparatively low res, and there's no guarantee it would work anyway. And so I just went, yeah, fuck it. Oh, nice. It's fun. You did a rewatch of Code Grey. I rewatched some bits of Code Grey 10 or 12 times. Because I was trying to get the... You like this shirt? I like this shirt. It's a lovely light peachy pink. And it's got some really nice glasses and stuff on it. Aaron, short answer, no. Because I tended to rip drives out of old computers when I did it. Slightly longer answer, that's theoretically possible. But, I did what I did, and I'll take it as it is, basically. Safa, what YouTube's version of downloading is it saves an offline copy for you that you can then watch if you're not connected to the internet, but you're still watching it through your browser. It hasn't downloaded it to your hard drive. So, but anyway, these are all potential solutions, none of which are going to happen because I have finished what I'm doing. So even if someone came up with the perfect solution, I'm not going to do it because I spent enough time on it and I just don't need to agonize over it. So I shan't. You want some ice?
Yes, please.
All right.
And in the fridge, can we get, there's two things wrapped in foil. Can we get the one that's not long?
Ooh,
Wheels.
no, I actually know what you mean. It's not long. The other one is long. Here you go. Dr. Abigail, there are multiple ways to download YouTube videos from your hard drive. There are some programs that will do it for you. There are some websites who will do it for you. And I did consider exploring that. And I actually think you can do it with Handbrake. I have Handbrake on my computer. And I just went, yep, you know what? Fuck it. And yes, that's technically true. Ask me if I want to fuck around that much. Spoiler alert, no, I don't. And again, if I downloaded the version off YouTube, it would be really low res, just because of how many years ago it was uploaded. So I don't know what the problem is, and I'm beginning to regret bringing it up because I'm not going to do anything. This is just me. I know a lot of people who do stuff for YouTube, and they are perfectionists, and they won't rest until everything's perfect. I reach a certain point where I'm just like, you know what, fuck it, that is it. And sometimes that actually means abandoning a project. Not often, but I have on occasion had such severe technical problems with something, I've just ditched it altogether. More often, I upload something and there are at least slight technical problems with it. Sometimes more than slight technical problems with it, and I just go with it anyway. And yes, Dr. Abigail, not for the last time, I am wrong on the internet. Hi, Lee. How's it going? So, yeah. All right. Putting it back. So an AZ cocktail. Aaron asking. Well, I guess an AZ cocktail would be strong for a start, dangerous, colourful, I suppose. Fruity. AIDS is a bit fruity. Oh, that's an interesting one. Yes, watch 4K YouTube video again. But this is a video that was uploaded over 10 years ago, and just with both the internet and what YouTube could process more than 10 years ago, downloading it in any form would be a comparatively low-res end result. Oh, yes, Aaron, the multiple layers of AZ. Wait, AZ was a whiskey lover. That's for sure. Yes, I imagine the download option on phones would be good. Download stuff when you're on either good internet or someone else's internet, and then watch them, play them back later. So I think the AZ special would have to be a whiskey drink. Maybe with an absinthe flip. So, okay. A version of a Sazerac. Okay. No, I just had to think. Okay. Sometimes a Sazerac is made with brandy. Cognac is the thing. Sometimes it's made with rye whiskey. I think AZ liked it both ways. An AZ Sazerac would be a blend of cognac and rye whiskey. And rather than, you normally just put a little bit of like an absinthe rinse in the glass, just the tiniest amount. I think AZ would be a bit more dangerous than that. I think we'd have an absinthe float on that. And yes, Megaleech, an AZ cocktail, definitely no chili. Yeah, okay. I think I'll do an AZ Sazerac. He likes it both ways. I can move this glass sword and break it. That'd be embarrassing. All right. So we will get which cognac? I think we'll do this Blue Swift. And that's rum, isn't it? It's going to say an Aussie rye whiskey. Aussie rye whiskey. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. No, I just thought of a savage twist on the AZ Sazerac. I think he'd like a smoky Scotch float as well. Right, this is going to be fairly diabolical, honestly. as is suitable for AZ. All right, so new bottle of absinthe, because I finished the other bottle, which lasted about 2 years, because this is real strong, so I don't use much of it. All right, so oh yep, got the Peychaud's bitters. All right, so gonna do 1 ounce of this. This is gonna get me hammered. Okay. Yes, it's the special blue absinthe. That maker makes absinthe in different strengths and color codes it. Their base one, green, which is the most common color for absinthe, is 70% alcohol. Then they do a red one that's 75% alcohol. This blue one is 80% alcohol. And there's a black one that's 85% alcohol. And the black one's sort of fun. Ooh, I can have a diabolical, super strong black absinthe. But it tends to make your drink look really ugly, whereas the blue one can look nice in drinks. Reet. I want some Peychaud's bitters. Do you know what? I might put some of the cherry juice in as a sweetener rather than another sugar syrup. Just a little bit. All right. Now, it's an AZ special. I've got a smoky Talisker 10-year-old. That'll do. We're going to do just a little float, just the smallest amount of a smoky peated whiskey. AZ had a bit of a soft spot for. And then just to reflect AZ's really dangerous side, a float of blue absinthe. Oh yeah, I think you can see it. You see see the blue layer? All right, so you got to drink through the absinthe. So this is AZ's diabolical Sazerac, Memorial Sazerac for AZ. Oh my God. You probably can't see it, but I can actually see the whiskey level too. There's a clear level under the blue before I get to the dark one. Glad you approve. Ooh, black one for an orc gibbet. Yes. Here we go. Fuck yeah. Oh my God. The smoke, because I did this smoky whiskey on top, just getting your like nose in there. The smoke rises up, so you get the aroma of the smoke before you taste anything, and then because the absinthe doesn't attack you straight away, but it stays with you. Got just this rich booziness, which is normal for a Sazerac, and then really, really strong absinthe. I love that the blue float is staying there too. I'll tell you what, that's really strong. That'll be my last alcoholic beverage for the evening, I think. The AZ's Diabolical Sazerac. Yum. And he'd love the whole sleazy New Orleans vibe of a Sazerac as well. That is so licorice. My God. You don't put that much Sazerac in a drink if you don't like licorice, because the dominant flavor in absinthe is anise, aniseed, which is the same base as licorice. Oh man, that is staying with me. That is staying with me. Just like the memories of AIDSy. Things that will stay with you. Yes. Yes, no, this is definitely an AIDSy drink because the taste lingers like the memory of a particularly off-color joke from AIDSy. Oh, good Lord. So what's the ABV of this? This rye is 55%. Yowzers. This is a very special, locally made rye whiskey. It was finished in a stout cask, as in cask that had stout beer in it. Born as a rye whiskey barrel, then bestowed to the Wolf of the Willows to mature their persistence imperial stout, returned to its origins for the final resting place. Stout cask is a 4-year-old rye whiskey, imparting notes of dried plum, rhubarb, roasted coffee bean, dark chocolate, dulce de leche, cedar and walnut with a rich creamy texture. So, yes, they had the barrel that they aged some rye whiskey in. Then they gave or sold, loaned, rented the barrel to their pals at a brewery who aged some stout beer in it. Then they got the barrel back and aged another round of rye whiskey in it to pick up some really complex flavors. And now it's in here being dominated by AIDSy. My God, I'm still getting the smoke off that as well. I was thinking, Dr. Abigail, of another Tolkien cocktail, a Mount Doom. I would use my smoker. Because when you take that off, it just looks really cool with the smoke billows off. But what would the drink be? I was going to say just a red drink for lava, but I could probably do better than that. Maybe something that is initially yellow or amber, and then you pour a red liqueur through it. So just the streams of the red going through are like lava. That could work. Not doing it tonight, though, as I said. Safra, AIDSy was mad for the coffee. So I'm sure he liked coffee liqueur. He's mad for coffee. Very serious coffee drinker. All right. All right, my martini is down quite a bit. I'm going to top that up before I put it. Aaron, Chambord would be a good choice. It's a French raspberry liqueur. I actually have about 3 or 4 locally made liqueurs that are red and are super tasty. Ooh, and a Rodruin Sunrise. Holy crap, you are so good at the names, Dr. Abigail. Layered. Well, that's what I think. I would do. The base cocktail would look yellow or amber. And then pour the red liqueur in it, so you've got the red streaming through it. I wouldn't do like tequila sunrise. It's like cheating. It's like orange juice and shit. I think there's no orange juice in Mount Doom. I think it has to be a serious boozy drink. And then we put the smoker on top and pull it off. And the smoker works better with the rich spirits. So yeah, I think I could come up with something that was yellowish amber, pour the red through it, then do the smoker and a douche and a Rodruin Sunrise. The other thing is set it on fire, Megaleech. That is the other thing. Oh yeah, well, I mean, honestly, some of these liqueurs I've got are basically syrup. They're very rich and heavy and fruity. They're basically syrup. They just happen to have alcohol content. Set it on fire would be another one, because the one I love doing when you do set a cocktail on fire and then well, I suppose that would be two different ones. I think there should be a smoky one and a fire one. You don't want to overdo it. They'd be two different ones. So I love, you set one on fire, you sprinkle cinnamon over it, because then cinnamon ignites like sparks when it hits the flames. It's neat. And I have a couple of very high proof spirits here that would nicely set on fire. Lee, I'd say there's no doubt whatsoever there's a drink called, in fact, I bet if you looked up Strawberry Fields Forever cocktail online, you would probably get minimum half a dozen completely different recipes. Safa, how Tim Smith am I? By the time I finish this, and I am not going to rush to finish this because that is pretty potent, I would be more than half Tim Smith. I don't know that I'd be fully Tim Smith after that. More than half, though. Safa, I have no idea when the pubs closed when I was a lad. I wasn't going to pubs. But no, I think pubs opened later. There was a very famous thing, certainly lasted into the 50s and 60s at least, the 6 o'clock swill, where all these guys would jam as many beers into them in the last 5 minutes before the bar had to close. Aaron, excellent name for a flaming one. Drogoth. Is that a Game of Thrones thing? We're talking Lord of the Rings. So it'd be Smaug. That's the Hobbit, not the Lord of... We're talking Tolkien. So who were the only dragon names I know from Tolkien? It's Ancalagan the Black, Glaurung, and Smaug. Okay. So I'm just getting a funnel so I don't make a mess here. Ugh. Come on. Let's get stuff out of the cupboard. Gotta top up my freezer martini and put it back. Okay, so we want navy strength and regular strength. We're mixing shit up. Ooh. What happened? Whatever happened to Fayray? To the coconut water I had? And what's the use by it? Oh no, great, doesn't run out. It's probably full of preservatives. Gonna dilute it with coconut water. Little trick I saw online rather than just regular water. Oh, well, yes, the Balrogs. Gothmog's breath. A fiery drink with tequila. Yes. Don't forget the Balrogs. I was thinking, where's my... All right. All right, so... All right. Now we get the glug, 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 I think. Because that was a new bottle. Okay, navy strength. And little regular strength. Christmas pudding gin. Gonna put some of that in. Drogoth is a dragon lord in Lord of the Rings? In what book? In what book do we find Drogoth the Dragon Lord? Because that's not familiar to me. But I'm very easily confused. So wouldn't read too much into me not knowing it. Okay, put that back up there. Get my vermouth. Oh, this one's almost gone. Yes, I had no doubt whatsoever there would be a Strawberry Fields Forever. Just a little bit of vermouth in there. And to simulate the stirring on ice, a bit of water, but we're going to use coconut water. Because shit's motherfucking classy in Shay Angry, I tell you what. Doo-doo. Right. That's probably enough water. Ooh, I might dirty it up a little bit. Hi, Dirk. G'day. Oh, okay, games. Okay, games. I won't be a snob, but games don't count. They do, you know. So, well, they're like fanfic as far as I'm concerned. That's fine. All right. Ice cream. What happens when you do your stream in the kitchen? You're in everyone's way. Ooh, should make some more. Yeah, there you go.
Thanks.
Oh wait, that's right. I had an idea. I'm gonna put this back, and going to just tiny top off with a bit of regular gin. That's probably enough. That can go back in the freezer now. Hey, Kyle. All right. Put this in here. Oh. Taste that. Oh, that's right. I was going to dirty it up a bit, wasn't I? I will just do that. Got a bottle that's just olive brine for making dirty martinis. So, here it is. Dirty Sue Premium Olive Juice. Ooh, it's a tight fit, as the actress said to the bishop. Just a teeny bit of the brine. I haven't dirtied up the martini in a little while. Some people like it filthy dirty and dripping wet. Hey, Kyle, doing fine. Kirk, what looks disgusting? Having olive brine? I mean, I wouldn't drink it on its own, but adding a little saline quality to a martini has a long history. Depends which actress and which bishop we're talking about and what specifically we're talking about as well. Yeah, I mean, Dirk, I hate olives, but that's like in 500 mils of martini, I just put about I don't know, 10 mils of olive brine. Well, yes, Lee, anything not by JRR Tolkien is non-canon by definition. That's what non-canon means. People can do things that are inspired by it, like a lot of extra stuff that Peter Jackson put in his movies. And then the fanfic of power that Amazon made for Prime. And we're referring to a video game that invents whole new storylines and whatnot. By definition, not canon. Megalich, you love olives. Mrs. Angry loves olives. So if we're ever out anywhere and I ordered a martini and they garnish it with olives, she gets the olives. Again, I don't mind just a little bit of the olive brine, a little bit of the sort of oiliness from the olives in it. It's nice. It's Megalich drinking the pink gin, guava cordial, stevia, and citrus tonic. And that's fine. That's fine. We were talking about tonic the other night. I rarely use tonic because it's too bitter for me. I'd be more likely to use a soda, but I was using that garden tonic because it's got a really incredible herbal element and lime element in it. I wouldn't drink a lot of it, but every now and then is good. And again, particularly with a gin that's matched up. Nice. Yes, Satan's salty testicles. That's fair. I do not like olives at all. Big psychological thing for them. Maybe because, mentally they're Satan's salty testicles. But again, a little bit of saline in a martini opens up a whole new flavor palette. But yes, like I said, there's the whole spectrum. It's freakish. Like your classic cocktails are so simple, but even without deviating from the official sort of recipe, can be so many different things. Like an old fashioned is spirit, sugar, and bitters. And you can make, sticking to that, you can make basically an incalculable number of drinks by just using different spirits, different sweeteners, different bitters. Whereas technically, I suppose if you had the time, well, I called it incalculable. Technically, if you had the time, you could calculate how many variations are possible. But you can just keep making variations. There would at least, and I'm not exaggerating, there would at least be hundreds of millions of variations. See, Dr. Abigail's on the same path I'm on. Technically, you could feasibly calculate it, but the number of combinations would be in the minimum hundreds of millions. Well, you say there's a finite number of ingredients, but you can blend the ingredients. Like it doesn't just, and I don't mean, when I say the spirit in an old fashioned, each brand, like it's not just whiskey. There are, I don't know how many whiskeys around the world, hundreds to thousands of whiskeys, and then all the other spirits, the brandies, the gins, the rums, the tequilas, and you could do a blend. Once you go through, I have now made all the old fashions with the thousands of spirits that there are in the world, but you could do a blend of different spirits, and it's still an old fashioned, but you do all these different ratios, and that's when you start ratcheting up into the tens of millions, and then the sweeteners. the spectrum of sweeteners, there are at minimum dozens and dozens of different sweeteners. So with just the spirits, you've started to get into the millions to tens of millions of variations. And then there's dozens of variations of those. And then there's all the bitters. There are hundreds of different sorts of bitters around the world. So this is what I mean. You can argue, and I would argue if you were being strictly literal, actually, it's an interesting metaphysical point as to whether there is a limit on what you would do, or if you'd ever reach limit. But again, as at an absolute minimum, you would be at hundreds of millions of variations of an old-fashioned. And that's without getting really silly, actually. Same with martinis, because the big thing with martinis is you can radically change the ratio of gin to vermouth. And then there are different garnishes, which are then different styles of martinis. But of course, there are, I don't know how many thousand gins and how many hundred vermouths there are in the world. But when you think of just the cross-pollination and then blending different gins and blending different vermouths and different ratios, same deal. For something that is on the surface so simple, and fuck vodka, I'm not even going to mention vodka, but gin, vermouth on ice, maybe with bitters, and with the garnishes. Again, you have absolutely got into the realm where there are at minimum hundreds of millions of variation that are still a classic martini. Without, in the 90s, people were just putting any shit in a martini glass and calling it a blah, blah, blah. Like an espresso martini is not a martini. Porn star martini is not a martini. In the 90s, they just put all this shit into martini glass. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying literally sticking with gin, vermouth, and maybe bitters, and the different garnishes, you would eventually be into hundreds of millions of variations while still being a classical martini. So, oh yes, no, and I agree. In purely literal terms, because nothing's infinite, so the number of combinations is not literally infinite, but in human terms, once you get to the point of you can make hundreds of millions of variations, it is in practical human terms a limitless palette. But in pure mathematical terms, one assumes there's a limit, that it's not infinity. Then, God, we could get into great metaphysical and philosophical conversations. Could you ever reach that limit as well? And yes, Kirsten pointing out, with 550 of distilleries in Australia making gin and at least 3 variations, in Australia alone, there are thousands of gins being made. I think Australia is one of the most prolific countries in the world for making gin, quite honestly. But yeah, you go globally, there's thousands and thousands of gins. And like I said, you can mix up the ratios, the garnishes, the blends. It's exponential growth of how many variations there are. And that's what I love. Because you'll get some people like the guys in this book who do 10 ingredient cocktails. And yeah, it's a shit ton of fun to explore all these weird little things. But even just the classics, like a 3 ingredient cocktail, the old fashioned, spirit, sugar, bitters, the martini, gin, vermouth, bitters, the Manhattan, which is the whiskey version of that, whiskey, vermouth, bitters, 3 ingredient cocktails, because of the amount, and again, because different whiskeys, different gins, different vermouths make totally different drinks. So I'm not cheating by saying it's different if you make it with a different gin or a different vermouth. It is. It's real different. So I have to say, that's why I fucking love cocktails. Besides the whole getting pissed angle. Ooh, Kirsten, what do you know what was in your very interesting old fashioned? Because I love so much um, uh, going into the old-fashioned variation. Oh, yes, Dr. Abigail, what you're saying about each ingredient adding an exponent to the calculation. For one video, I did a really quick calculation, just of classically what are regarded as the different uh, ratios of martinis, like the ratio of gin to vermouth, and then the garnishes that make different things. And even just at the most basic level, you were getting into so many possible variants. And so you start off saying, like, say there's, for argument's sake, say there's 10 recognized ratios for gin martini. Okay. And then there's four recognized garnishes, because one of them is no garnish. So there's four recognized garnishes that would make the martinis different. So then you're up to 40 martinis, and then you could have them dirty or not. Which again, like four variants of that, and you're getting into the hundreds. So even without taking into account the different numbers of gins made in the world and the different numbers of vermouths made in the world, and then whether or not you put bitters in it, you're getting into the hundreds. So when you take into account all the different gins that exist, all the different vermouths, you're definitely in the hundreds of millions. Oh no, it wasn't good. It was interesting, but not good. It had soda water. Oh, that's kind of like oh, shiz. That's kind of like I feel like the what's the Wisconsin old fashioned, I think they put soda in. Oh god. You had to say to the bartender to make it your way, and he said, "Oh, like in the city." And you stopped yourself from saying like everywhere else in the world, which is very bold. Oh, Lee, if you want a fun one, lime juice, soda, splash of bitters, like, because you're basically making a lemon, lime, and bitters there. Yeah, so the bartender had actually made you a spritz when you asked for an old fashioned. So that's the whole thing. Yeah. Again, was it the Japanese love their whiskey highballs? So Dr. Abigail, the various gins using only Aussie botanicals. You could drink every gin every second for the rest of the age of the universe. Yeah. And of course, people are going to keep coming up with new gins while you try to work your way through everything that's on the market now. By the time you do that, there'd be thousands more. I mean, and that's what I love about cocktails. It's not just that there are, hundreds and hundreds of established cocktail recipes. Just stick to the classics. And there's so much scope. No crushed up fruit. It's a real Wisconsin old fashioned if they crush the orange and cherry, which is gross. Gross. Yeah. We actually, you know what? Aidsy's Diabolical Sazerac, pretty good. So the smoke from the whiskey float, you do have to like your absinthe. You have to like your licorice flavor. And I think it's definitely one to have on ice, because traditionally a Sazerac's not on ice. You stir it on ice to dilute it a bit, but then you serve it in a glass like this, but with no ice. I think it's a good one to have on ice because it slowly dilutes as you drink it, and the taste evolves. Yes, if you really search Safa, there'd be hundreds of thousands of cocktails. I'm talking about non-shit cocktails, just stuff that's been published by really clever people who know what they're doing. There's minimum hundreds, if not thousands of, and I mean top quality cocktails. Don't joke how the age of the universe depends whether neutrons are stable or not. Difference something like 10 to the 200 billion years. Well, again, numbers that humans might be able to numbers that humans can actually seriously understand. So I think, ooh, Kirsten, variations of calculations martini based on your collection. Way into the thousands, I would think. Mine is at minimum, even before you start getting really tricky. Like an interesting one I read recently is like, try making your gin drinks with a blend of gins, which is the thing I want to try and see how much difference it is. But yeah, minimum thousands of martinis from your collection. Dirk, you like your scotch? Dude, the only thing you have to know about alcohol is what you like. Oh, Aaron, Bar Ampere. I love Bar Ampere. Also, good food till about 3 o'clock in the morning, which is another bonus. Oh, yes. Excellent point from Kirsten Dirk. It's absolutely worth your while to try Australian whiskies. I largely only buy Australian whiskies. I have like one Scotch. I have an American rye, an American single malt, and an American bourbon. I have one Irish and a bunch of Australian whiskies. I have these little sample bottles because they're in the post-Christmas sales. At half a dozen teeny samples of Scotch whiskey from different distilleries, and 3 different Teeling distillery Irish whiskies. But Australian whiskies fucking kick ass. Yes, Aaron, Bar Ampere is great, and it's right next to the Gin Palace, where Dr. Abigail and I had a religious experience with cheese on Friday night. Just a simple brie, and it was so fucking good. Is that a George Thorogood song? One bourbon, one scotch, one beer. So many good little bars in Melbourne. And I haven't even been to a quarter of them. Sorry, I mispronounced Cheese Palace. They do great food there. And it's only just like snacky finger food, but it's really good. Oh yeah, well, Aaron, the Gin Palace is in the same lane as Bar Ampere. Both really good venues. Yeah, like Bar Ampere does, they do burgers and stuff and whatnot. Whereas Gin Palace is like, finger food, cheese plates and whatnot. Still young. Yes, all Scotch is whiskey. Not all whiskey is Scotch. Oh, did you actually take pictures of the cheese? I don't remember. Ooh, Australian. We've been talking about Australian booze. Australian cheese, very good. Yes. Safa, I don't know. I know there was different licensing laws in Melbourne that let lots of small bars open. So I think there are probably more bars in Melbourne than Sydney, but I've got no real empirical evidence to base that on. I'll do the affogato. That's the chocolate and the ice cream. Some alcohol, I think. Coffee. I don't like coffee. Ugh. Oh, yes. Dr. Abigail should put the cheese. I didn't realize you. I mean, I was probably there when you were taking the cheese pictures. Yes, we have all the secret bars, the speakeasy vibe ones. What was I last taking pictures of? What's happened to my all photos? Oh my god, the high tea thing I did with Mrs. Angry. I should post those pictures because they're frigging awesome. Oh yeah, like okay, the last place is a like Mrs. Angry and I often go to places we find places that do good cocktails and food that are near public transport. And one we went to recently is in Carnegie Commons. Fucking yummy. Now it's kind of funny. Like, see if this comes up. You see, that looks really cool. That one. It's in a little pineapple glass. It's bright green, very nicely presented. It was a pretty ordinary cocktail. It was like a lolly water cocktail, but they do really good cocktails. Like this one they call like a baklava, and it has all the flavors of baklava. It's really nice foam as well. But yes, going to bars that are near public transport. Justin, there is a memorial for AZ tomorrow. I did put that on my Facebook, I think, and other social media. They're actually streaming the memorial as well, if you can't make it, though. The cheese is on Discord. That sounds like a weird code someone would say in a David Lynch show. The cheese is on Discord. Oh, yes, the cheese is looking very good. I'll share it here. Where are we? Sharing the screen. So that's the cheese plate. Yeah, Dr. Abigail and I first got just brie, and it was really fucking good. So we said, I want to get the cheese plate. So it's like brie and a blue cheese and a hard cheese and some bread and I think it's sliced apple to have with it. Justin, will I be speaking? No one's said anything to me. I don't know what the format of the service will be. I don't know if there'll be like an open mic thing for anyone who wants to say something. I've not been involved in the preparation, and I don't know any details at all. Don't know if anyone's expecting me to say anything. I'll suffer. Of course, it's expensive compared to a supermarket. Of course, it is. Someone had to source all these extreme specialty cheeses and then prepare them for us. Like 5 times more expensive than buying cheeses from a supermarket. Oh God, Kirsten, you've got a thunderstorm freaking out the cats. We had a thunderstorm at about 2 o'clock this morning. It was short-lived, but quite loud. We're not meant to have any rain for like a week now. Let me have a quick look though. What's happening radar-wise? Yeah, nothing near us. Holy shit! Looking at Sydney though. Gosh darn it. There's some serious shit happening around Sydney. And some around Lawrence. Oh, more Devonport and Burnie than Launceston. Yeah, we're not really meant to get much rain for like a week or more. Really rumbly. Yeah, both Mrs. Angry and I got woken up by so I didn't move much. I woke up and it was like thunder and heavy rain. And I went, no, storm. Roll back over. And yeah, in the morning, Mrs. Angry goes, oh, did the storm wake you up? Yep, it did. And earlier today, I was half expecting one. I was driving back towards my place and saw multiple sort of bright lightning flashes, which is very unusual when you're not actually in a storm. I could just see dark clouds off in the distance and saw a couple of big lightning forks. But it didn't actually rain here. It's not supposed to rain here, at least not much for the next week. Dr. Abigail, hate Sydney. I haven't been there for a while, actually. Oh, Dirk, actually, lightning photography is fun. Oh, no. So you got a transport crate for your cats, and so they're already extra jumpy. Dr. Abigail, sorry, Kirsten, you hate Sydney too. That's why you're moving. Yeah, Justin, I'm on leave all this week. So AZ time took well for me, so I don't have to be traumatized while I'm at work. Oh, God, Aaron, you thought there was a storm, but it was just your dog snoring. God damn. Oh, shit, we lived in the driveway years ago, like 30 years ago. I was living in Sydney. We moved to a new bit. It was in Ashfield. It was down the road from the station. And it was in a kind of narrow, windy road. And there was a lot of apartment buildings. So it was like a narrow road with a lot of tall, not skyscrapers, but multi-story apartment buildings sort of looming over this line. We were in a house, but there were a lot of apartment buildings. First garbage night when we were there, the noise of the garbage truck coming down this fairly narrow road, echoing off the apartment buildings, sounded like the fucking apocalypse. It just woke me up with this hideous rumbling and crashing. And what the fuck is that? And it was the garbage truck. I mean, we got used to it, but the first time it happened was terrifying. Anybody here? Oh, you would have the composure to speak? Yeah, well, like I said, I have no idea if anyone's going to ask me to speak or if there's going to be an opening for me to speak. If I go up to speak, I have no idea if I'll hold my composure or not. In the abstract, I think I will, but reality could be a completely different thing to my expectations. And I'm sure AZ would appreciate the effort you're making as well. Oh, I'm going to drink my last little bit of sody before I go to bed. Get a block of ice. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of things. A block of ice for a start. Okay. Put that in there. I'm just going to disappear off camera for a moment because I want to fill up my little water filter jug and get some drops of water. Right. So to fill up ice before I go to bed. And I will need some water for that. Justin, no idea if AIDS is being cremated. No one's really said anything to me about preparations. I don't know what the family's doing or all those things. Safra, it's impossible to predict things like traffic and public transport. I mean, in the abstract, I'd expect... Oh, God, look at that. There's less soda than my ice isn't touching it. God damn it. That's really annoying. I'm forcing my ice to melt. I'm forcing it down into the soda. I'm a madman. All right. That'll do. I mean, a JRR tram's reliable. I mean, you know, they were the other day. There's work online. All it takes is like one accident, and the trams are completely fucked. And that goes for actual road traffic as well. So saying that it's usually fine doesn't mean anything from a predictive point of view. Oh God, Aaron, harsh, reliable and Yarra trams never in the same sentence. Yeah, well, it will be interesting to see nobody because we definitely should have a laugh. We should definitely have a laugh. There'll be a lot of people who know him for lots of different reasons and from lots of different time zones. Because a lot of the people who he had a big impact on in the 5 or 6 years he was at uni, because he did multiple things at uni, a lot of them haven't seen him since uni. So there's going to be a lot of very different people there who know him in very different ways and from very different time periods. So, I can't really predict anything that's going to happen. So the thing about where AZ's thing is, there is a train right next to it. There's a choice between trams and trains. There's a train station that's only like I don't know, 10-minute walk. So it's pretty close. There is also a tram line that goes up to Northcote. So there are options. If on the day you find out there are disruptions on the tram line, you could go to the train. Or if you were thinking a train and find out there are disruptions on the train line, you could go to the tram. So, and Northcote is not that far out, so shouldn't be too big a drama to get to. So, just in Canberra, the last Liberal state government refused to allow town planners to plan new suburbs. As a result, some of the suburbs have streets too small for garbage trucks. That sounds like Liberal Party policy. On cutting red tape. Oh, you mean there are no controls or standards? Excellent. What could possibly go wrong? You muppets. Yeah, 40 minutes on a tram sounds about right, Safa. It's yeah, they're busy streets the tram goes on. But like I said, there is a train as well. So Aaron, if I could pick one place outside of Melbourne to visit that I go to often, do you mean when you're saying outside Melbourne City, do you mean within Australia? Because there's a big old world outside of Melbourne, around Victoria. Isn't bad. Mrs. Angry and I've been planning little weekend and overnight trips to places that have distilleries. And there's some out past Geelong that we like. Out in the Bellarine Peninsula has some good stuff. The Mornington Peninsula has some good ones. We went to Yarra Valley, like Healesville area, because there's some good ones there. These ones I've only been to, like the Bellarine. Sorry, Mornington and Yarra Valley I've only been to once. And yeah, if I was going to find somewhere to visit I hadn't been before, I'd probably be looking up like, where are the distilleries? Because there's quite a few I haven't visited. There are a lot of distilleries in Victoria. So yeah, that would dictate which places I'd go to. But yeah, and I liked all of those. So I'd absolutely go back out on the Bellarine Peninsula or out on Great Ocean Road. Absolutely go back out to Mornington. Absolutely go back to the Yarra Valley. But yeah, I'm sure I could find a few other places with distilleries I haven't visited. Yeah, Kirsten, it's an excellent thing to help with your trip planning. Where will we go? Let's go somewhere that has an interesting distillery. Aaron, your partner do when you go places. Weird quirk. Go to a small town. Look at the cemetery. Yeah. I'd always thought, okay, because I'm from the country. I'm from Dubbo in Western New South Wales. And I've done road trip Sydney to Dubbo, Melbourne to Dubbo lots of times. And besides the cemeteries, almost every small town has a museum. And I think it's probably safe to say 99% of them, 99% of their exhibits are going to be shit. But I felt like you could make at least an interesting, quirky documentary by stopping in these towns and looking at their museum. You know, what's in this town's museum? Because I used to like Dubbo's museum. Dubbo had a small and weird museum, and it had shit I really liked in there. So I think that would potentially be interesting, going country town to country town and checking out what they have in their museum. Because you would both get some local history and also weird shit. Like, what weird shit did they put in this town's local museum? Kirsten, you've been to the Yakandanda. I haven't been to the Yakandanda ones yet. Considered it. Like when we were looking at our last one, we actually were tossing up between the Yarra Valley and Yakandanda, and we chose Yarra Valley because of the big expansion 4 pillars had done. Okay. Farming in Dubbo is cattle, like cows and sheep. And there are pig farms as well. Oh, nice. Your coolest cemetery one's Beechworth. But that's the thing, like the history of some of the towns can really surprise you. Like I said, without doubt, I think most of the stuff in the country town museums is going to be pretty crappy, but there's some interesting scope in there. It's Mimsy knocking at the door because someone closed the sliding door on her. What's the time? I should go and let Mimsy in. She might say good night. And hi, Jude, by the way. Oh, just a sec. I'll let Mimsy in. She may or may not come up here and say hello to us. She's just looking, seeing if someone's dropped any food on the kitchen floor, basically. Oh, there you go. Kirsten, Beechworth has a good cemetery and 2 distilleries. There you go. So, Justin, you're getting work chat complaining they don't have much to do. What sort of clown complains about that? Complain when you've got too much to do. Complain when you aren't being paid enough. All right, Mimsy is coming up to say goodnight. 4-footed rumours. Yeah. Ever since the day I dropped a little bit of bacon on the ground when I was cooking some pasta, she gets super excited when anyone's cooking, hoping that they'll drop something she can eat. She's ridiculous. You're ridiculous, Mimsy. You're ridiculous. But you usually get something when I cook, don't you? Like if it's chicken, because I always trim the fat off the chicken, so you get that. Which I'm sure is not good for you, but you know, you're here for a good time, not a long time. So Oh, okay. Aaron, do you remember the flying saucer one I had, which was actually quite good and weird and creepy? It broke, which I was really um, disappointed by. And I went searching for it online once. And apparently that flying saucer thing is a bit rare. Someone was like trying to sell it on eBay and it was for hundreds of dollars. I was like, fuck off. And I did find like a local sort of toy and puzzle store selling like a little 20 questions thing. And I got that and it was just super shitty because it didn't look as cool, but also didn't have the uncanny ability to guess what you were talking about. And yes, I do like to repeat stuff, just for emphasis. Don't we, Mimsy? Don't we? I'm just waiting for all my favorite distilleries to gear up after the end of year holiday break and release some more special spirits that I won't be able to resist getting. Yes, yes, Mimsy. I want to buy stuff again. Are your comments getting through, Dr. Abigail? Maybe. Hard for me to know. I don't know. But, okay, it's 9:52, Mimsy. You just get a little patch. And then you're going to follow me into bed and you're going to sit on me or sit next to me, baby. Hopefully not on me. Silly cat. Mimsy is the AIDSy of cats. We're amazed she's lasted this long. And yes, when she actually goes, we will be like, well, that's not a surprise. It's also kind of sad, but not a surprise. Ice, Mimsy. Yeah, it's not going to hold much interest for you. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, Dr. Abigail, when you got to go, you got to go. All right. I am get that bit of orange off my skewer and eat my cherry before going to bed. Ah. Justin AIDSy was dead as in cardiac arrest probably half a dozen times. And more than once, he was basically in a do not resuscitate state. And he started back up all on his own. Oh, kittens love the freezer defrosting. Is that like you've got to switch off with the door open? Because I can imagine Mimsy being really interested if I had the freezer door open. Yes, yes, you would be, wouldn't you? Is in fact, Justin, with AIDSy being dead, it's a core part of Code Grey that he died during the whole debacle with the flesh-eating bacteria, necrotizing fasciitis. And that was one of the times when he was on Do Not Resuscitate. So he died twice. The second time was on Do Not Resuscitate. And so they were calling it, and his heart just started again. Oh, God. Jude, last time cod liver cocktail was mentioned for Mimsy. Cats aren't keen on cod liver, but they go, but canola oil. That's very interesting. I'm not sure what Mimsy's views on oil are. Bacon fat is great, isn't it? And like if I'm making chicken and I'm trimming the fat on it. Justin, well, okay. There's actually in a video I'm going to upload tomorrow, a cutout from Code Grey. His thing is it was nothing. It was like, it was blink, blink. Like he lost consciousness or was put under with anesthetic, died on the operating table, came back, was in an induced coma, and woke up. But to him, it was just like blink, blink. It was nothing. Kirsten. Ah, yes. Yeah, you got that thing with the ice chunks falling off. Yes, yeah. I've had freezers like that I've had to defrost like that. Yes. Oh, nice, Dr. Abigail. Return, left your pee in another room. I have to actually watch back when I sat on the fucking B-Day and got AIDSy mode. Nice. Your cats recognize canola and get really excited. Aaron, I can get cats being obsessed with cabana. Yeah. Mimsy's obsessed with bacon. Got to the stage whenever anyone cooks in the kitchen, she gets really excited that they might be dropping something. Yes, I haven't watched that back. For those who missed it, we managed on Friday night for me to connect my phone to the stream from Dr. Abigail's place, where she has a B-Day that has multiple modes, one of which was called Enema. So you can guess it's pretty serious. And we renamed it AIDSy mode. And I'm glad I didn't drop the phone too, because it was a bit of a shock, quite honestly. But I haven't watched it back. I have to go and watch back my reaction to AIDSy mode on the B-Day. Justin, yes, it's like surgery. I think AIDSy said that being dead and being resuscitated was the same as surgery. It's just like blink, blink. You're asleep and you're awake. Do you like that? Jim Gaffigan's joking about bacon. To prove how good bacon is, they use it to improve the flavor of other foods. This is true. And whiskies. Bacon fat infused whiskey is a thing, which I have done, and it's yummy. You make an old fashioned with bacon infused whiskey and maple syrup. It's fucking awesome. So I might do that again someday. So B-Day mode cleans your outside. Enema is supposed to spurt high pressure water into your butthole to clean your insides. I'm not sure if it really did that, but it's you fucking notice it. You fucking notice it is what I'm saying. When AIDSy mode is going on that B-Day, you notice it. I've never had chocolate covered bacon. I've heard of it. Candied bacon is a thing as well. Justin, if you're asking me, my family going to AIDSy thing, no. What are we? It's 10 o'clock. Oh, wowzers. Kirsten, you found it. Your rescuers have found it in a bin with 7 babies. That's real rescue. Dr. Abigail found a red hits as well. I found it does a bit of fucking exploring on its own, quite honestly. And yes, you do move around a bit to get the full effect. I mean, just in terms of the cleaning side of things, absolutely see why people like B-Days. But yeah. But yes, so I'm going to retire for the Heffenink. If you want to know about AIDSy's memorial or watch, because it is apparently streaming, I did post it on my Facebook, so you can go and check that out. I'm going to post a video that has various musings from AIDSy on life, death, and the afterlife as a little memorial for him tomorrow. And they'll be back for a stream on Thursday night, in all probability. So Aaron, speaking of bacon. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, that cafe at Fed Square that did French toast with bacon and maple was the fucking best. The Jolly Mont Espresso, that fucking rocked. That was so good. Oh, you got a 1 year anniversary of your kitties, Martini and Gimlet. Nice. Yes, Aaron, it was quality. Definitely not what you'd call health food, but it was fucking great. But anyway, that's it. I'm going to go sleepy bobos, my fine people. Like I said, anyone who's interested, I did post the details of AIDS's memorial on my Facebook. You can watch it online or later. And I'm posting an AIDSy video tomorrow, which I think is quite neat. Okay, Jude, so it's 5 p.m. your time. It's like noon our time here. But yeah, I'm going to see all you fine folk another time. I will say